World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Good afternoon. This is Tony Rogers, your host for Urbanology, the Art of War. I hope all is well with you. And Happy New Year for those who I might not have seen. We're in 2026, and it's a good year. If you were able to see my show last week, Lloyd Strayhard, my good friend Lloyd Strayhard was on, and he's talking about a good year for many of us. It's a number one year. 2026 comes up to being a number one year. So there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot that is happening. As you know, the Harlem Tourism Board recently had co-sponsored an event in Ghana, in northern Ghana, which has started to become an interesting opportunity for awakening the sleeping giant, which is the African diaspora. Today, there are three friends, actually, who was part of that delegation that went to Ghana. They're friends, in different parts of my life. Stephanie Francis has close to 60 years based on Blafrica Promotions and Harlem Week. And Stephanie is a co-founder of Harlem Week. And we've been, every August, we've been together, no matter where else we've been. We know our parents knew each other, and our brothers and sisters and children and all of that stuff. So Stephanie was there, and I was happy that she was there because Blafrica Promotion and Tourism was my first introduction to traveling globally. We went to Senegal together. We went to a number of different places, and I'm glad that she was there. My second guest, Flora Luyando, who I met Flo actually during Harlem Week in the great day. I was putting up my signs for um, uh,
I
uh,
can't hear.
I'm not sure. Hi, can you hear me, Stephanie?
Yes, I can. Maybe I
Okay.
have to turn it up a little more.
I can hear now. Can I hear you guys?
Can
Can
you
you hear
hear?
me?
I can hear you. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear us? We can hear you.
I
You might
can't
have.
hear Tony or Stephanie now.
Well, I
Okay,
didn't
check.
say, can you
Let.
hear me now?
I hear you, Stephanie.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Hopefully, we will try to
I
get
don't hear
all this
Tony.
done prior. Um, third guest. Let's see where she is. Catherine Warren. Kat, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay, Kat is good. Kat can hear. Um, what we'll do is that as we move forward, we'll see whether or not I know Matt is in the background. Maybe he might be able to help Flo to see what's happening. I don't know. We were all straight before, so I don't know what changed. But
You turn the screen off.
just to check again, Stephanie, you can hear me,
Can
Yes,
you
I
hear me,
can.
guys?
and I
Because
can
I don't
hear
hear
you.
any of you guys.
Huh?
I don't hear any of you.
Check your sound.
What we'll do is that we'll come back with Flo, and we'll see what we can do in the background. Matt is a master; he's like the Wizard of Oz, so there may be something that he can do. And Flo, if you can hear us, um, uh, see, can you text Matt? I think he should be in your email stream. But nevertheless, I have Stephanie and I have Catherine.
Yes.
Hi.
You still can't hear me. Okay, but can you hear us? I guess not. All right, we'll work with that. Stephanie Francis,
Yes.
I've known you the longest of the three. Um, you've been traveling with Blafrica and all of us for many years. What was different this time going to Northern Ghana for you?
Mm. The first thought that came to mind was it was being home.
Mm.
A feeling of comfort, a feeling of warmth, and just fun. And the people that I traveled with were like real people. That we talk about the years and how long we've been traveling, Tony. It was
Mhm.
like traveling with I want to call us our youth, but the energy of the youth that,
Mhm.
took me out of wherever I was because I was somewhere else. But it was refreshing,
Mm.
revitalizing, fun.
But
Fun.
in particular, what were the things that allowed for you to be refreshed, revitalized, and youthful? Because that the the fountain, the Garden of Eden is in Africa. You do know that, I mean,
Really?
yeah.
That's why we went there.
Flo,
But
I see you clapping. Can you hear us now?
Yes, loud and clear.
uh-oh.
Okay, now we got that
All
energy.
right.
We done had to plug. We done plugged in the energy for us.
Watch out.
Here it
but
comes.
but
Um, it was, as I said, the home feeling was the best. The refreshments, the food, the camaraderie, the places we stayed.
Mm.
It was not like I gotta be in this fabulous hotel to be able to enjoy the energy of Accra, Tamale. It was like,
Togo.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh gosh. And the festival was a remembrance of bringing back the energy of when we first started Harlem Week.
Mm.
It was like looking at, oh, here we go. we're going to build, we're going to create a community that's already there, but bring them together, and then seeing all the chiefs. I've been around chiefs. I mean, I know chiefs. I mean,
And kings.
Tony, you've been a chief, the kings, you know, I've known them all my life. I've been surrounded by royalty, you know. You don't recognize it until you recognize it and feel it and appreciate it. What else can I say? The weather was hot, but not too hot. It was as if I was where I was supposed to be in terms of energy.
Catherine, let me check Catherine. I'm going to save my girl Flo. I want, because there's a whole different conversation I will have with Flo. But Catherine, from Stephanie was basically from just representing a lifetime of friendship and traveling and things like that. We went together to Senegal, and I know you've traveled quite often. My thing was making sure that you could get there, because I felt the ancestors were talking to me. You know, they were saying, you got to record this one. This is going to be a special event. It's going to be a special time. And you need to bring somebody that's going to make sure that special time would be documented. And of course, you know, I had to call Kat, you know, Kitty Rose.
Yeah, she. They say,
And, you know, and he said, "Well, I don't know. You know, things are tight." And I said, "Okay, let's just, here are the dates. Let's start working on seeing how we could do that." And it was one of the best investments that I think I've talked with everybody who was part of the festival, the Tangos and the Glens and everything. And they all said, you know, Tony, you were right. We were wondering, you know, because we were kicking out a lot of money here. We were wondering, you know, what I was saying she will be double the things, benefits that we get for whatever we can do. Tell us, Catherine, besides doing what you do, you know, so at some point you were taking pictures of everything that was taking place rather than actually being in it, but I guess it was being in it too. Tell us your experience in this trip to Ghana. What, you know, moved you, and what are some of the things that you would like to share?
Well, I definitely want to share publicly to everyone, being grateful to Tony and the Harlem Tourism Board for even trusting that I could deliver and make sure that it was documented, our experiences, and not just our experiences, but what we were feeling as we were experiencing these things that were different for all of us as travelers. So what was different about the experience in Ghana was, I'm a piggy bank off of Stephanie. You know, it was being amongst royalty, chiefs and kings, and seeing the initiative, wanting to, the desire of the initiative being amongst everyone. You know, that united front of understanding what the purpose was, why we were there, and making sure that they were able to express, to make sure that it was documented. It was like everyone knew their assignment, you know, and that felt good, because it was like there was no time to feel anything but what we went there to feel home, to feel connected, to feel welcome, you know, and to see the different varieties of the different villages and what is capable of happening and being. It was almost funny watching each village that we went to. It was like,
and we got
did they tell each other what was happening with the prior village? Because it felt like competition. Everybody was trying to big up and do a better welcoming than the last chief in village.
but we all know that my king, Jennifer II, nobody can touch him.
Yes. Well, we got to the palace. Yes.
you know that's what makes it special, because we traveled under the eye of Jennifer II, His Royal Majesty Jennifer II. So, but Kat, there will be times, I'm sure, that we'll be able to see your work, and people who are listening on YouTube, they've already seen it. You know, you was working before you even got there. But but the whole idea, and at some point you have enough material, we might go to Netflix or something talking about the diaspora, you
Just
know.
put it out there.
But you got some good coverage of some things that
of the experience. I think we froze. Well, Tony froze.
Oh, he did.
Me, I'm not sure.
Oh, no, we back.
Now, last but not least, energy.
Yes.
Boy, as I was saying, when you talk about bringing the sun in, if you're not ready, you know, no vampires could be around this woman.
That's a good intro. I like that. That's a good intro.
But as I was saying before, I met Flora many years, a few years ago, because now she's a doctor. And I met her when she was, I think you were getting ready to go into your master's program with acupuncture, the whole, you know, she just had a lot of skills in wellness, and she just came and started helping me putting up my banner because I had a wellness station, and you know, I didn't even ask her. She just, I guess our ancestors was talking to us, so and then she started coming to some of the classes, and we became friends, and I watched her grow and develop her business. And then one day she says, you know, I was thinking about going to get my doctorate in Chinese medicine, but I don't know. And I said, you don't know? What are you talking about? You don't know? You know, how many years we've been together talking about all of this stuff? And she went and did that, and then she joined all these sororities or what have you. And the important thing is that when we talk about the diaspora, we're talking about Africans, whether you were born in Puerto Rico, Africans, whether you were born in America, Africans, whether you were born in Brazil, Africans, whether you were born in any country outside of your own. As Kwame Nkrumah indicated, I'm African not because I was born in Africa, it's because Africa was born in me. So the diaspora was represented by my dear friend, Dr. Flo. Tell us about and you've been around the world. This girl travels all the time. I got pictures of her on elephants and all kinds of things. So she's traveled a lot. But of all of the things that you've seen and traveled, what impressed you most about Ghana, Flora?
Wow, some of it is not even focused with words. It's about a feeling, an expression that vibrates through my body. It's when I step in the soil of Puerto Rico, and when I step in the soil of Tanzania, it was that same vibration when I stepped into Ghana and even smelled the air, that I know that I was guided by my ancestors, that a part of my ancestors were there. Because in Puerto Rico, the original people, indigenous people of the Borinquen land, are Tainos, Hawakas, and they speak that language, and it still does exist. Like the word hamaca is a word that is Taino and Hawaka language. So in Puerto Rico, they brought in slaves, the colonizers mainly at that time with the Spaniards, that brought in African slaves from East Africa and West Africa. And the feeling and the vibration there when I landed there was just nothing more than feeling like home. The beauty, the sensation, the dancing, the love for the children, the maracas that is similar to Puerto Rico that we Tainos have embraced. They have something similar. So there was more alike than different. And I knew I was also home there, just like I was home in Puerto Rico and Tanzania, Africa. And Ghana was, especially in northern Ghana, gave me more of a reflection of the reason why I was there, because I was supposed to be with you guys 3 years ago, and it was always something conflicting with my schedule. And at this moment, I knew that, okay, when I planned it and you guys told me, you and Richard was like, okay, these are the dates. Are you able to go? I'm like, yes, this is the year I can fit it in. And I'm so glad because it was divine. And so to answer that in full circle, it was divinity. It was the ancestors. It was time, and pa'lante siempre. We are here for that. And I'm looking forward to 2026.
one of the things that, as we talk about the diaspora, that was also important, and I'm glad, Kat, that you were able to record some of that, is that there are a number of Africans who were born in America who are now have returned
Mhm.
to Africa. And there was one Queen Mother Glenn, who you guys seem to connect with, and it was interesting because I was talking to Martin Glenn, who's also a chief. He says, she was so happy to see you guys because there's a certain type of energy that she had not been able to touch bases with for a minute, and you guys brought that, that energy of the diaspora
Mhm.
back home. So, you guys are like medicine also. So,
Mhm.
that was a great connection. What are some of your thoughts about the business opportunities or the possibilities of telling people that there are opportunities that they might be able to have in Africa, especially in Ghana, especially in the north? Cat?
Well, one of the beautiful things that kept being emphasized and invited for us was land. And I think that people don't realize the value of free land, and coming back to Ghana, or coming to Ghana and having an opportunity to be involved in the development of a place that you can feel ancestral connection to. So I think that that was one of the things that I took away. Now, once you get the land, the expense of having to develop it is something different, but at least the opportunity, the thought, the mindset of now we have land, now we can actually figure out how do we now get the money to develop it, rather than figuring out how to get the money for the land and development.
Well, and that's true. And based on some of the things that are being worked on, um, those things might come from within.
Right.
Stephanie, what is your thought? You have been in real estate. Your family has been in real estate, and own properties in Harlem. What did you see that might inspire you to look at, if not all of the time, rather than going to Florida when it's cold, maybe going to Ghana?
What I saw was an openness,
Mm,
uh, the elements you can feel, and you could live
mm,
without all this other stuff. We all know what that's going on. It's a release. Uh, it's almost a freedom. I've spoken to many people recently, and I'm surprised that people are thinking about going to Ghana to live.
mhm.
Um, and even younger men they're now out of college, but their eyes open wide with the idea of being able to own something that is theirs, and to raise their families, and just it's wonderful, you know even at the age that you're able to say, oh, I could go outside and I could breathe
Right.
good air and eat
Flo,
good food. Yeah. All right.
I know that there have been some conversations, and we'll probably have to increase that. But I know you introduced Chinese medicine to
Mm.
some of the chief. Did you ever get a chance to treat the chief, or did that ever?
Spoke to him, and the answer is no, but I spoke to him and we're going to set something up, so that is amazing. The timing and the time was conflicting, but I was able to provide acupuncture to other people there, which was amazing. And it was an experience to show that there are other options in medicine, that it's includes the body, mind, and spirit. And for me, my mission has always been, since I was very young, how can we continue to own land? How can we continue to own anything if we are not clear within ourselves? And for my mission is in Ghana to go to Tamale was to allow people to be aware that when you have your mind, body, and spirit connected, you're more clear in the decisions that you want. That famous word that was there when we went in Acara was moving forward. When Puerto Rico, we have that same word where it says "palante siempre," moving forward, right? Not forgetting the past, but understanding the past as you can continue to move forward. And so the key for me is to understand for others that health, it is wealth.
Mm.
Order to continue that with anything else, you have to understand that meditation, Chinese medicine is all connected. And that's the key. That's the key in my mission to make sure when I continue to return there for many works, because this is not going to be the last, is
And
to
one of the things that you're doing also, Flo, is what you are doing is something that had been done and created in Africa.
Mm.
When we talk about healthcare, medicine, when we talk about the types of information that was in Africa when others were not even dealing with, it was sacrilegious. Matter of fact, to do the types of wellness things now that people deal with. That's why, people had to go underground to do, simple things. So your energy, I believe that we all have the energy of our ancestors in us, and it comes out in many different ways. But I see how you were with the kids. I have both of you. I have some wonderful pictures of you guys with. When we talk about young people. You created a certain type of an image of these young people of what the diaspora is like. Because in many cases, you were the first ones to see the diaspora. So those pictures of you with kids, they saw something that they probably had never seen before. I know they saw it with you, Flo. They said, "What is this woman talking about with all of this energy?"
Yeah, to add to that, I feel that when you mention something, the medicine that I have been a part of has always been in our roots. I just think as a reminder, and that's what I mean by clarity, mind, and spirit is
Mhm.
to remind others that this medicine has always been ours, right? So in indigenous times, some people call it Chinese medicine, some people call it from hepatitis from Egypt, right? Some people call it from Thailand, so many different names. In Puerto Rico, we call it many other words as well. So we have indigenous healing medicinal for years. So this is nothing new. So what I do
It's
combine,
in your nature. It's in your DNA.
absolutely, it's in our DNA. And so Puerto Rico has indigenous, and just to combine all that and just to make awareness that we are here and just a reminder is always good.
And Queen Mother Stephanie, I don't know what it was with Stephanie, but all of the kings, they wanted to take Stephanie. The king of Congo wanted to take Stephanie to the Congo. And,
I didn't
and,
realize it was happening that way
and
until
it was one of the princes. It was the guy who had the turban. Remember with
oh
the king of Kenya? It was not the tall guy. Oh
yes.
man, he fell in love with Stephanie every time I.
We had a ball in the
I-
temple, me and Stephanie. OMG, that temple. Oh,
oh,
we would
the
just
one
take
with the lions. One.
that with the lions
Oh
was amazing.
yes.
Mama,
So so Stephanie, if you get tired of New York, you probably
Ready. I'm ready. I'm
you,
gonna
Got
get
you,
about
my
five.
you,
She
you,
got about
you
five
know.
husbands.
Matter of
if
fact,
they say I
you
can
got
have some
people
land.
over there.
my leader, his Royal Majesty Jennifer II came to sit next to Stephanie, took off his stuff and gave. I made Stephanie give me a bracelet though, because I said you got,
Yeah, see, Tony said
you
that's
can't have all of that stuff. But uh, but that's the energy,
Yeah.
and the
the
other people
energy.
who went with us, because there was a bunch of people, and that grouping created a certain type of understanding. And Kat, you said it earlier. Everybody kind of knew what they were supposed to be doing at the time that
Mm.
they were supposed to be doing it. and it was just one of those synergies that allow. We were thinking, but we've been meeting about getting the dates for 2026. But one of the things, and I had mentioned to this behind we were in the studio, that we don't want to commercialize this particular component of going to Ghana. There are other trips that can take place that are more commercialized, that we can have more people we don't know. But for the festival part of it, and there may be two different components of a festival trip, but the part that we've been able to experience when we're going into the homes or the palaces of the kings or what have you, we need to have a select grouping. We can't just take somebody that we don't know or may not have, you know, the best interest of what we're trying to do in mind. So we're going to look at that, and we could have thought that no more than 20. I mean, it could be less, but no more than 20 on that type of
Particular trip,
right.
sacred,
You
very
know, there's so much stuff to do in a crowd that you guys probably didn't see a lot of. I mean, but you know, there's a little bit something for everyone. But this particular festival conference, which is how I'm beginning to look at it, is not for everyone. It's for
Agreed.
it's people who are serious, people who want to bring something, and people who want to get something as relates to uh, considering adopting a home. Because when you get off the airport, when you get out of the airport, the first thing they say is "Welcome home." Welcome home. And now that I'm a chief, one of my responsibilities is to duplicate people like you, which is hard to do. That I said that's impossible. Is this the mold was broken? All three of y'all.
because we only need one
Ain't
at
gonna,
a time. That's why we
there
got.
ain't gonna never be another Flo Cat or Stephanie. However, there are people that you guys can influence. There are things that I believe Pan Africanism has. You'll start hearing me talk a lot more about that. Kwame Nkrumah, where we came together, which was interesting. What I wanted to do, and next year, uh, across the plaza, there's also the home of W.E.D. Du Bois. He was the person who tutored Kwame Nkrumah when he was in Harlem. So those connections were interesting as we would go through different situations of how Harlem just kept
Yeah.
coming back up, and people were beginning to understand, even to the point where we put the dirt from the Harlem burial ground in the area where the slaves died, and then that dirt from there was taken when Jennifer came during Harlem Week. So those things were symbolic. And Kat, now we're gonna have to help me find some money to do something because I Kat, I gave up my grant writer money to make sure that I had Kat, which is interesting because now she's gonna help me, with all of her stuff. Have you seen some of the postings that she's done?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
incredible. I got people calling me from all over the place. Hey, I see you were in Africa. Do this, do this. You know what's funny though? And I mentioned it to her. Um, Queen Mother Glenn, Sabrina.
Sabrina.
I
Hi.
got
Sabrina.
two people calling me and saying, "Was that Alicia Keys? Was Alicia Keys with you guys?"
Such an amazing woman,
I
Sabrina.
said no, but we had Queen Mother, and the openness, even there, you could see, and you met a couple of other people. There are a couple of other sisters who there's an organization that they're putting together for Africans and Africans who were born outside of Africa. and it's really to begin to look at development, creating opportunities on both sides of the of the ocean. So there's a lot happening.
Well, I know, can
I'm
you
not
guys,
sure.
are we on?
Yeah,
I know answering or responding to the grant process is like the one good thing about having documentation is that when we're looking for funding, they actually want to see, well, what are you doing? And
yeah.
what awareness are you bringing? What connection are you developing to the importance of why you're seeking this money? So even at the first Harlem Arts Alliance meeting on January 23rd, I'm still in conversations every day with the media team that we worked with out in Ghana. So we've been putting together combining footage so that we could have their footage and my footage in our end presentation of the Cultural Oneness Festival 2026 alongside with the Harlem Tourism Board. So the work, like you said, isn't done, isn't over. It's just now extending what happens next for people for the next Cultural Oneness trip with the Harlem Tourism Board for 2026.
And
And
the other thing that I'm working on is during Harlem Week to have the Cultural Oneness, uh, not Cultural Oneness,
case of,
Cultural Tourism
oh, okay.
Conference, which is part of the Cultural Oneness, and that will be the Thursday before the last Sunday in August, which is the last Sunday in
Harlem Day.
August is, I believe, the 16th. So it's
Yes.
probably the 13th. Uh, that it would be a combined Harlem Week. Hopefully, Harlem Urban Development Corporation, they helped us last year, and the chamber. And the theme for that I'm working on is the beginning of the third Harlem Renaissance.
Okay.
Based on, I just had a conversation, an interview with Teresa Holmes, who is the VP of development for the Urban League. That building is a major footprint. That was, I have to send you guys a tape of it, but they are going to have office space, all kinds of different things. They already have Trader Joe's and the like, but uh, the important thing, probably by the spring, is the Civil Rights Museum, the first one that will take place in America, and we're going to partner with that, the Harlem Tourism Board and the chamber. They're members of the chamber. Then you got the Studio Museum, and you got
Mhm.
National Black Theater, and there's a bunch of things happening on the east side, the west side, the whole, all of the area, which brings us into, this is the beginning of the third Harlem Renaissance.
So shameless plug, I already told Curtis Archer. I was like, okay, when I saw him last week, I was like, money time. so So shameless plug to Curtis Archer right now. He is already ready for the meeting.
I'll echo that.
That's great. That's great.
What I would like to do, though, I would like to take, we have, a couple of minutes. I'd like for each one of you to talk about what you're doing now, what's happening with you in 2026. I know your business. Tell people about what you're doing, how they can get to you, and the services that you offer. Flo.
Well, somebody just texted me that they didn't know I knew Flora and that she's opening something up on 191st Street.
Yes,
People
I
watching us right now.
Oh, boy.
Telling our business.
Yes, thank you. Soon.
Oh.
Yes, the cannabis dispensary with my partners that I went to West Virginia University. They are part of the
Wow.
Sci-Fi
Nice.
Incorporated. And to add Kwame, he was a Sigma. Yes. And when I saw that, I was surprised when I went to the museum in Accra. I'm like, oh my God, he's my brother. Okay, Divine Nine. So shout out to the Sigmas out there too. Blue 5.
Wow. Small world. You never know who's watching. I didn't mean to do that, but I just literally
Hey, small.
watching us on YouTube.
As they say, small world. You never know.
Yes.
So, Catherine,
Yes. Sorry.
What 2026? I got to put down this thing. I guess I got to be at that meeting. Vosa told me I needed to be
Yes,
at all these
January
meetings.
23rd, Tony Rogers. I already put you on the calendar.
23rd. Okay. This is the
Ooh, I
Harlem
won't be here.
Arts Alliance.
Yes.
Matter of fact,
But you see how I'm working. Even if you weren't there, I was going to show the video. So
it probably would be better if I'm not there. I'll probably mess it up anyway. But tell us some of the things, your services that you do and what you do for people and how you eat.
Oh, well, how I eat is by producing television content. So that is how I eat. And I eat through the Harlem Arts Alliance because they keeping a girl busy right now. Thank you. Shout out to Rosa and to you, Tony. But yeah, really, you know, I'm focusing on my parenting series, helping parents navigate the raising of adult children, and then working on my television shows that I'm producing, which is why I got the text right now about Dr. Flora, because one of my shows is Cannabis in the City. So that, you know, world is now opening up to me as far as women in the cannabis space, and really, you know, being that voice in Harlem. You know, it took this amount of years, but now I'm kind of like the go-to, you know, when it comes to media in Harlem and production work. So I'm excited for, you know, all of the upcoming Harlem Week activities and things in between that I'm being called to make sure that the production runs smoothly. So yeah,
So that means that pretty soon I'm gonna have to get online then.
That's honey. Well, no, you don't really have to get online.
In the front.
Right. I call him the mayor of New York.
You took me
no, please don't do that.
2 times. You will never have to wait online for anything, my brother.
Never.
And Stephanie,
you were chief.
Exactly.
What I'm doing is getting straight with all my sisters, giving me encouragement to, you know, do what I did before. It's like redoing Harlem Week, recreating.
Yeah.
And we've seen what energy and hard work does and what we can produce. That's what I felt when I went to the festival. It was like, oh, and the fashion show, it was as if we were reproducing everything that made Harlem.
Well, that was part of the deal that I had with Tango, is to provide the festival with what we experienced in Harlem Week. I mean, Glenn and they came to Harlem Week 2 years ago just to see the different things that are happening. And yeah, we have pictures of Chief Glenn and Tango, and then they came again and they brought His Royal Majesty, who was. It was interesting because Jennifer II is one of the most powerful persons, not only in the North, because his 2 sons, they're 2 political parties, and his 2 sons are the head of both of them. They're in each one of those parties, and he's like the vice chair of the Council of Chiefs throughout Ghana. So as you can see, you know, he puts on a nice show, but he came. And he did not want to stay downtown. You know, they were saying, well, you're a king, His Majesty. He says, no, I want to stay in Harlem. I want to walk around in Harlem. He was on 132nd Street, I think. And he brought his family, and he gave me the honor of giving me my title at our conference.
So and wait, I have a joke. That was funny. Because one of the kings had to check him because he was like, y'all so close now. He didn't call you chief when you got to the he was like,
he called me Tony. He said,
Tony. And he was like, wait, because we're the same age, I'm going to interject and say, you need to call him the chief title that you gave him. That was hilarious.
Yeah. He was supposed to call me Manuele Wuwa. That's my name as a chief. But said Tony, he says, no, well, what happened is we are the same age. We were there. That's why I think Tango said, yes, your son is here. He says, he ain't my son. That's my brother. Yeah, but those are the things that I'm glad that you were able to document, Kat, because there's still people who don't really understand what we experience.
Mhm.
Flo, you've been around, you've seen different parts of countries, whether they were European or not. But and I have to a degree, but it was something about Ghana when I went there that allowed for me to feel that this could be home. You know, this could be a place that I could live. I don't know whether I will ever get rid of the city that never sleeps. That may always be in my blood.
They've got one there for you.
But they do. You
Yeah,
know,
wow.
matter of fact,
Tony was at
uh,
the club.
Dancing. I saw that picture.
they have and you guys didn't see. I mean, the week that you guys left, that's when it really hit. I mean, there's some thing there. I mean, they sleep all night. But that's another life. That's in Accra, you know. But some people like that, and everybody likes a little bit of it. Where we were, um, it was more of a spiritual, cultural connection where we had a good time. I had a couple, you know, you guys, you know, you know,
I had
but
to tell on you, Tony, because you impressed me. It was amazing to see you wanted to go out every night and really like shut us down. I was like, wait a minute. But that's what I love about looking at you and Stephanie, because this is what life should look like now for the both of you, you know, and being that example of having that type of, y'all had more, I think y'all had more energy than me and Dr. Flora, to be honest.
We must have had some
How
naps.
about
Tony.
that? I don't know. They had more energy than me.
yeah, because we went out one night and Flo went to bed, and then early in the morning, you know, getting up. We had to get up at what 5 o'clock, and I'm trying to find some food. Flo, I said, "Oh God!"
I had to bring you guys on the dance floor.
And she had whole night sleep. I think I might have had two. I don't even think I went to sleep that night because I had to get up so early.
The things
And
that we went through was amazing. Would never change it for the world. The people that we went with was just divine. The connections that we made, making connections with these women, along with Sabrina. If you're watching, we love you. It was just an amazing feel. That womanhood, that sisterhood, and then meeting mama elders and
Yeah.
princesses. It was also for me empowering for women to empower each other
Yeah.
and uplifting each other. And that's what was done there as well. And that's what reminds me also, because when we're in Puerto Rico, even in New York City, is that flavor. And that's why I also felt like home, because it was never like I left Puerto Rico or never like I left New York City, because it's a vibrancy. And definitely, I look forward to returning back and doing some more work there, because the work just started. 2026, I have a mission. We all have a mission there to return back and do what we need to do.
one of the things that we're starting to work on, and you guys, wherever you might want to tie in, that would be great, is developing a partnership between the City College of New York and the University of Development Studies, where we went to, and to begin to develop that connection from an educational component. There
Absolutely.
are three basic concepts as far as our exchange program as far as Harlem and Northern Ghana. That's educational transfer of information and development from Harlem to Ghana to Harlem. Two, economic development opportunities, things that we will be able to allow for those who are interested in doing business in the North to do, and that's already happening. We're in meetings. Uh, your brother Bobby Hunter, you know, everything
Do
that
it.
he everything that happens in Ghana now, he said, "Oh, this is the chief here. You got I'm on these calls about people, all of these different types of deals." That's Bobby Hunter. and the other one is cultural tourism, but cultural tourism uh, is different from just tourism, and both of them are great. There's nothing wrong with going in, being on the beach, partying, getting up, getting something to eat, go back and partying, and maybe walk around for a while. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Mm.
But then there's kind of like the work as far as going to where the slaves were going into the mountains and doing that, all of that stuff. And you have to kind of want to do that in order to put up with it because, their play. God is big, as you guys know. We were riding the bus for a long periods of time to get to the one village or the one place.
Another country, like going to another country to the other end to the other, or like even United States, like when you're going from New York to Florida, the drive was just as
well, actually from Accra to Tamale, driving, it's about a 10-hour drive. And you can imagine where we were when we did the ceremony.
Yeah.
Slaves were walked from there to Cape Coast, which is past Accra where we went. They walked. That's why there were so many people who died on that walk. That was like a 5-6 day walk. And it was not, there was no highways there. It was rough.
Well, like you said, Tony, this type of trip, the cultural trip, is not only about the fun things to do in Africa, but it's also about connecting and seeing what you can now do to change or help assist in the mindset that's in the continent, and bridging that type of development or change here so that we can actually, be progressive when we come to develop these lands that now we have the opportunity to do that with. So like you said, it was a lot about also building relationships. I know for myself and Dr. Flora, we've both been in contact with Queen Sabrina to help her with her initiative with speaking with the young women that we connected with at the college.
Mm-hmm.
Queen Sabrina has a mindset or program, the purple print, that she wants to now continue to initiate and build her foundation separate, in addition with the Taste of Africa and the Cultural Oneness Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Mm-hmm.
I was able to connect with another school, an organization in Tamala that has a event called Celebrate Her in March in Tamale with the colleges as well, that I've been invited to be a speaker and connect with. So
Mm-hmm.
the relationships of the work that you said has to also be known, that when people come on these cultural trips, that the connection is not just to come, but to build and to assist and to be a part of that global movement that's happening both here on this continent as well as our home continent.
Well, that's couldn't have said it better. It's one of those types of situations where I don't believe in coincidence. I think all things happen. There's a greater power.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you are looking at this show, you can see, why I was so happy that these three ladies who all had different parts of my life came together. But I suppose if you're positive, you're positive. So the fact of the matter is, birds of a feather flock together. So I was amazed because it was about maybe 20 of us who, some we knew, some we didn't. You guys didn't know each other, but
it didn't feel like that.
But
right.
We were like a family automatically. I mean, And it
was funny because I felt the Kenya brothers, like they were hesitant for like a couple of hours the first day. Like everybody was feeling each other out. But like after that first night,
everybody he embraced everybody.
Well, he was a king. He had to kind of learn how to I mean, my brother from the Congo, he didn't have no problem.
Man.
He just sent me a video, and he's on one of these boats with his family. He had 14 kids,
Right.
Right, right. I was
and
looking
one
for
on the
more.
way, and still talking to. And I was saying, well, "Why are you talking to Stephanie?" He says, "Well, this is it's not the Congo,
He was hilarious.
but everybody." Uh,
Different people.
felt that energy, and
Yeah.
even the king of Kenya, and his two guys, they were kind of,
The prince.
you
They
know,
was uncles. They was
Right.
uncles at the end of the trip.
by the end of the trip, boy, and that was an interesting way of seeing how
Cultures.
positive energy can bring people together. Uh, uh, at least I didn't see it. I don't know. I did not see any type of negative.
I didn't either.
No.
That
We didn't
the
do
type of
that.
Like
stuff that,
extra, like they were too
right,
high to associate with us. None of that.
you know. I mean, it was one of those things that if we talk about the diaspora, if we could get more people to experience that and understand that that's what's happening, that in itself is worth 1,000 trips. You know what I'm saying? To be able to understand that there are people on the other side that really want to be down with us,
Yeah.
and we should want to be down with them.
Yeah, what was beautiful was openness, right? The openness that everyone was willing to understand, be patient, and listen to each other's culture, because the culture is what communicates union. Because I personally feel when there is some kind of disharmony, it's because of communication, and it
Mm.
could be a language barrier, it could be a cultural barrier, or both. And with that being said, that's what was there, synergy. We were all open for that because we want cultural oneness. And
Amen.
And and even with the people, Michael, who's Ashante, Bordell, he
hi,
was Ashante,
out
um, you know,
Brunel, Michael.
Mindy, all of those, Tango. They're different cultures, different conversations. Sometimes you got to listen twice to actually see what they're talking about. But something was different as relates to just the language. It was something that you were able to feel. There was a genuine feeling
Mhm.
that allowed for us to, even when it was hot and we were tired, and we were able to find the positive component of the situation. There's always a negative and a positive. This depends on what you want to look for. But it's something that, again, we'll be talking, because obviously, you ladies, the work is not this. We just started, so
Right.
I'm going to be calling on you and referring people to you, and asking, especially with the City College the development studies, because you were at the development studies. So if we're having certain meetings and talking about things that can happen, we'll use that. And the Cultural Oneness Festival during Harlem Week. Uh, if we get money, we might even bring our Congo friend.
Oh, that was the
I don't know. I can't see him. He might get in trouble in Harlem.
they need to bring the host.
From the moment he saw me, he wanted to know how old I was, and I'm like, "What does that have to do with life?" His energy is pure, no matter.
Yeah. I mean, it was a situation where we were able to be with different types of people, different areas of prestige, as we could say, royalty and all of that. And I'm just thankful that the ancestors allowed for me to be a conduit to kind of get you guys to come together, because it was truly a wonderful experience. You guys made it, and I just was happy to see how you guys was just vibing with everybody, how you were able to, work with the kids, Flo and Kat, You know, that was important because that
Hmm.
sends a message. You might not remember it, but I'm sure that they remember.
Mm.
This person from America was coming, hanging with us, and taking pictures with us, and talking, to us in a way that they probably would, never have experienced because where we were, most people who go on tours to Ghana don't go. They
Right.
don't. They don't
Even
see
people that
people.
live in Ghana don't go to
Right.
Northern Ghana.
Right, right.
Well, you
That's
had said
exactly
that
that's
initially.
exactly what
They
I'm
didn't
saying.
even
People
know.
who are in the
Yeah.
choir, you ask them, "Have you been to North?" Been there. So we are like, uh, especially and even when they go, they don't go to where we went.
Right.
They're not going to the palace of
Right.
the chief, the landholder, the landlords of territory. And so those young people, I have a picture of them. There's a bunch of young people just watching. They're just looking like, wow, look
Mm.
at them. They were, and Flo breaking the ice by dancing and doing her thing.
I
That
love
was that was something that I'm sure that they will not forget.
Mm.
Right.
It's something that allows for them to understand that
culture.
there are people
Mm.
who are on the other side because they don't get the real deal in most cases. They don't.
Mm.
Many of the people who go there are not trying to be friends. They're either on business or they're on a tour or whatever. And those villages in which we were in, you know, they
It
don't
was
see us.
genuine. Everything was genuine, and
Yeah.
just following
Well, they
very.
don't know how not to be. So,
Oh,
Right.
I can say that. Ghana,
Is that a lack of TV and motion pictures?
exactly.
yeah, a lot of that. That's true.
Yeah.
Hadn't thought about that, but you're right. But then they got their
Oh,
phones, so
oh
they
yeah.
Took those pictures. They definitely got their phones.
And a lot has iPhones and Androids. So yeah.
you know they
Ghana's
But
up
like
with
you said,
they're up with that. They've never been behind on that. So they're great.
yeah,
right. But
well,
like you said, it's a mindset thing because you saw it from village to village. There was some villages that were more developed than others. There were other villages that were less developed. And you're trying to understand, well, if we're still in the same country, we didn't leave a different country. We were all in Ghana in these different parts. That's why what we said, the work is so important because the way that certain villages are don't have to necessarily be like that, but they've gotten so comfortable not knowing that there's anything different to
different.
have because of the
Mm.
mindset. So seeing us come, seeing us embrace them also connects like we're not as different as as the colonizers might want us to think, which is again a message that stayed throughout the festival between the chief, the host, the kids, the performances was changing that mindset that the colonizers has separated us by keeping us divided. There's 54 countries and we're divided by language and tribes. No, we shouldn't be. So yeah, that was beautiful to see and be a part of, but also gave you that, okay, this is what I have to do. This is my part in the work, not just googling eyes and taking pictures and being a tourist. No, you actually are being a part of the change in the mindset by people also looking at us.
Awakening the sleeping
Amen.
giant, the
Because
sleeping giant.
Yeah.
I want to add to what Kat is saying. Is no difference even here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Parts of different states in the United States that have that. So poverty, where
Right.
division, right? And so when you could go to South Carolina, North Carolina, West Virginia, New York, Boston, Philly, there's a difference, right? And so economics, it's about economics. We are no longer going to be allowed to be divided because
Well,
we're
Mm.
one of the
world
things, and we have
and
to
we're coming
actually go. We
out of
can go
here.
on.
We're moving
One
forward.
of the goals is to allow for people to understand that they're Africans.
Mm.
They're Africans who were born in America, or
Mm.
they're Africans who were born any place. That will begin to allow for a connection. Once if you say that you're an African American, that means that your time frame goes back to slavery. But if you say that you're African, that
Mm.
means your time frame goes back to the
Oh, I
beginning
like
of
that.
time. And so
I like that.
being an African born in America
Hmm.
is like being a Chinese who never been to China, 3 generations American, but they Chinese,
Right,
or even a Puerto Rican. There are
right,
Puerto Ricans who never been to Puerto Rico,
right. That's a good point.
but they Puerto Rican.
Right,
Right. We can never be told differently.
right.
And we still feel
But
We don't think that way. Yeah,
Africans who were born in America
yeah.
have
And the
to
same.
begin to understand that they're African.
Amen.
And when you begin to understand that you're African, things you start paying attention to about the United States of Africa, what's happening with gold. What does it mean that Ghana now is the number one producer of gold, number 6 in the world? That means that we might be fighting soon. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, and we'll end with this, no longer, especially young people, we talk about young people, let them know that they're Africans who were born in America,
That part.
because we've been tricked of not saying who we really are. And
Yeah.
then you don't, until you know who you really are,
then you can't move forward. You
Yeah,
have
you
to
cannot move forward.
Circle. Yeah.
move forward.
So that's my charge to you guys, to allow for people to understand. Don't be saying that you're African American. You're African who was born in America. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you,
It was amazing.
Tony.
Thank
you.
We'll talk.
Oh,
For your
Dr.
roots.
Happy New Year. And thanks
Happy New
and
Year.
thanks for being a part of a wonderful journey to my home. It could
To
not have
our
been
home.
great without our, excuse me, our home. Take care, ladies.
No, I share the same mommy. I gotta share our home.
Amen.
Well, again, you could see the energy that was there for 10 days. It was intense. And that was only 3. There was a whole bunch of others with the same type of mindset. But thank you for watching. We'll continue. We're growing almost out of January and going into February. But there are a lot of things, especially about the diaspora, that we'll be talking about and interviewing. So Matt McCoy, Jasmine, everybody with the Soul City team, thank you. And this is Tony Rogers signing off. Take care. See you.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Urbanology.